Kia ora koutou. I'm Grant Illingworth. I'm Chair of Phase 2 of Te Tira Arai Uruta, the Royal Commission of Inquiry into COVID-19 Lessons Learned. Now that the inquiry report is public, we're taking this final opportunity to share with you a high-level summary of our key findings and recommendations. In Phase 2, we were tasked with learning lessons from the country's COVID-19 response to improve our overall pandemic readiness. As part of this exercise, we were asked to look at key decisions the government made in the period from February 2021 to October 2022, including the impacts of those decisions. The specific topics we looked at were vaccine approvals, processes and safety, vaccine mandates, testing and tracing technology, and national and regional lockdowns. Our report is based on evidence gathered over the past 15 months. We've considered thousands of documents and have heard directly from a wide range of people and organisations, including former ministers and senior public servants, community and advocacy groups, business owners, and experts. We received more than 31,000 public submissions from members of the public and organisations. We felt it was important to hear firsthand about the experiences of living through the pandemic and the response. Some people continue to feel deeply about the government's response to the pandemic, whether strongly in favour or strongly against, and you may be somewhere in between. We have listened closely to this range of experiences and perspectives. What people shared with us was often heartfelt and personal. It all forms part of the record created by this inquiry and should not be forgotten. Following our intensive investigation, we have concluded that in the period from February 2021 to October 2022, our government's response to the COVID-19 pandemic was well considered and appropriate in the light of the information available at that time. Our examination of the evidence has led us to reach the same conclusion as Phase 1 of the inquiry. Good decisions matter. They matter for health, well-being, safety, and prosperity of individual New Zealanders and for our society as a whole. Good decisions especially matter in difficult times when the path ahead may be clouded by uncertainty. Evidence shows that New Zealand had one of the best pandemic responses in the world. Lockdowns helped minimise the spread of the virus, vaccines were approved and then used based on sound scientific advice. Initially, vaccine requirements were generally supported across the country, although the mood later changed in some quarters. But we also found that New Zealand's overall strategy and settings were not always sufficiently responsive to changing circumstances. Some decisions were taken with less information that could have been made available, for example, certain mandate decisions. And based on the evidence we heard, we have made a number of recommendations, including that better systems should be put in place to support good decision making. A key recommendation is that a permanent strategic function should be put in place at the centre of government. The strategic function should have responsibilities beyond pandemic preparation and response so that it can build up and maintain its capability and develop strong relationships with decision makers and other agencies. This function should also be tasked with conducting regular and transparent reviews of major decisions during a pandemic. Dedicated legislation should set out the special powers available to government in a pandemic. It should define the scope of those powers and provide safeguards for individual freedoms when those powers are invoked. We should prepare for the economic impacts of a pandemic by building a fiscal buffer and by developing plans to support individuals, businesses, and the economy. We should create and maintain a practical guide for decision makers facing a pandemic. We should improve our understanding about the social impacts of a pandemic, our response as a nation, and about how government can communicate openly and effectively during a pandemic. Our detailed findings are on the inquiry's website, along with 24 recommendations that we believe would better prepare New Zealand for the next pandemic. COVID-19 impacted every one of us. We all experienced it, but each of us experienced it in our own individual ways. Aotearoa New Zealand is a multicultural society which exhibits a rich diversity of ethnicities, faiths, and values. We sincerely hope that the extensive work undertaken in both phases of this inquiry will allow us all to gain more understanding, empathy, and respect for those who suffered the more adverse effects of the pandemic. It's inevitable that we will face another pandemic in the future. It's vital that we collectively learn from what we have been through. Together, we must ensure the lessons learned serve us well in preparing for whatever may come next.